Greetings everyone! 2020 has been a wild ride so far. Everything's been happening at once. A pandemic, the coronavirus, some previously unknown diseases. Which means quarantine. We're stuck at home. Worst of all that came to pass was the closing down of all exhibitions in Milan, leaving us without inspiration, without muses, furniture manufacturers, and so on. In connection with this, we are spending a lot of time staying in, working remotely from home more than ever, and our lifestyles have changed quite a bit. As a result, interior design choices have also shifted. So today, we're going to be discussing all the 2021 interior design trends. Let's roll! The common existing trend in 2021 already made an appearance in 2020, a trend nodding towards rural life. Everyone has already realized that it is no longer necessary to stay in big cities, seeing as a large number of companies have switched to remote work and it has proven to be efficient. This led to a trend modeled off country housing. People have begun buying land more often, building houses on these plots. As for us, we've had more of these type projects in the studio. The first trend that can be pointed out, in my opinion, is a general global pattern, which will perhaps, somehow, still work its way to us here in Russia. And this, the trend of working with recycled materials. Recycled plastics and various second-hand materials are now being utilized in interior design items. By the way, if there's anyone working in this field in Russia, please direct message me on Instagram. If you are someone who is able to create some items for an interior which are made of recycled plastic, maybe we can come up with something. Why not? Since the pandemic began, the coronavirus has influenced the economy, and thus some difficulties have arisen. For example, in logistics. Many don't want to take risks waiting a long time for custom-designed furniture from Europe, Italy, France, and so on. People are trying to find furniture and decor materials in local markets. This localization makes it possible, on the one hand, to allow new companies to develop, those that are manufacturing furniture and interior items. In regards to this, these items can be used in interior design. I'd say designer items made by local creators will be popular with consumers. Meaning, if in Russia, for example, an item manufactured by Russian designers was not so popular 5 years ago, when everyone was using cult materials and objects from Western designers, then now is when our own designers can develop more and prove themselves. Moreover, this trend doesn't only affect Russia. I'd say it involves the entire world. If before we were seeing more and more of the ceramics, such as large format porcelain stoneware that imitates marble, then now I think we're going to see a trend for natural marble in 2021. However, we don't just look at the interiors anymore, and we don't just have a visual impression. We feel the interiors, because we're around them more and more time, and we feel pleasant concerning those materials which are genuine and nature-made. This effect will be as apparent to marble as it will be to modern materials as well. Natural wood will become more popular now, and basically, we've seen this happen lately. Now we'll see a trend for a natural wood, whose qualities are less manufactured, that will only intensify. This is a light-bodied wood, which can be used not only on the floor, but also on the walls, on the ceiling, or simply put, this light-bodied untreated wood can be used in all types of decoration. Now, textured materials are very fashionable, a trend which will only increase. The various textures of plaster, the texture of marble, some kinds of raw marble, possibly cracked, perhaps wood-laden with knots with several gaps and crevices, and so on. Everything that shows off the naturalness of the material will only enhance said material, make it look cooler, more expensive, and appreciated. Therefore, it seems to me that in 2021, the trend for the manifestation of the naturalness of these materials will intensify. In addition to marble and wood, natural fabrics have also become popular. Linen, velvet, and other natural materials will turn into a must-have commodity inside a modern interior in 2021. And even if you cannot completely do up everything in natural fabrics, it's guaranteed that they'll show up. up locally. I'm not saying that we go back to the forge and try to make bricks from scratch in our apartments and flats. Nor am I talking about putting up any concrete walls wherever or various other things. No, I'm talking about decorative elements. Elements of industrial-style concrete can be found everywhere. They can be done up in both minimalism or contemporary styles. They may be mid-century themed, the style of the 50s, or even the style of the 70s. Concrete can be used basically anywhere. And these industrial-style elements be presented and showcased as such in all types of interiors. In general, I more often notice interiors with elements of concrete combined with light-bodied wood. This also shows quite well in architecture. And with the addition of tropical plants, tropical decorative elements, greenery, it all looks very light, lively, and again, comfortable. From the perspective of colors, there is a kind of contradiction in trends. On the one hand, grey is the color that is mostly popular at the moment, and I'm noticing that more and more neutral grey shades are appearing with the use of various aforementioned natural materials. And as a whole, a neutral color range. A naturalesque color range, as was trending, it's now more and more prominent, and the colors are slightly muted and becoming more monotonous, monotone, and comfortable. But the pandemic has played its own part in this, and there are more and more vivid accents, and vivid accents are used locally. It could be some terracotta colors, which are warm. So, for example, a deep blue color and basically a cold range of colors are in fashion now. Thus, it must be mixed with warm brown shades, maybe terracotta, and so on. This type of neutral blue color can be combined with gray tones, some neutral beige shades, not to mention warmer decorative elements which are always added. While we can fashion a balance of this cold atmosphere of sea colors, something which is now trending, then on the other hand, we add these accents, spots, bright elements that add life to the interior. And due to the fact that they're used on decorative elements, we can always replace them. As we spend a lot of time at home, we may get bored with one kind of interior scene, and thus we can change it locally. Changing, for example, the same blanket, switch it to a different color, change decorative pillows, change some small decor, and basically we've already refreshed the scene. We'll no longer have what we're used to, but a new, different atmosphere. Such experiments are now more relevant than ever. Our task for interiors is to create an atmosphere and environment of nature, where interiors and exteriors are barely separated. And this has been seen in architecture for a long time, when private houses are sort of an extension of the landscape, and all those shades that exist outside the architecture, they're also present within the interior. Now this exact trend will get stronger. This imitation of nature within shades, in colors, in materials, and included in the decor will be enhanced, not only in a country house sort of way. For example, some various tropical plants, some kinds of green walls, deformed wood, wooden decorative elements. This all can be decor, like some hemp that remains untreated. They can also exist within a modern interior. Here, the pandemic has played its part again. And there's since been a trend towards individuality. We're going to talk more about this now. But anyway, in the decor, you can use some of the handmade art that you've constructed while you were in isolation. Just as one example. In short, everyone has done crafts, macrame, cross-stitching, and we'll decorate the walls with all that, for sure. So, dear listeners, make yourselves become more creative. Do whatever you wish and use it in place of decor. In principle, even an old chest of drawers with carved fronts can suddenly find a spot within a modern minimalistic design. All this can be complemented by some kind of separate pieces of furniture, decor, and the list goes on. As a result, a type of mix-match can be achieved. This contrast of the modern versus the outdated is only getting stronger. Therefore, this fashion will continue into 2021. Indeed, you can also call it a trend that will be popular and will also develop further. Also, the trend of being closer to nature is used in furniture. For example, furniture made of rattan, wicker, or water hyacinth. For example, what we saw 10 years ago, 5 years ago at exhibitions in Indonesia in Southeast Asia, this Bali furniture, Bali-type atmosphere. Generally, it's gaining momentum and becoming more and more popular. Decorative elements, such as wicker furniture, will increasingly be used in modern design and combined with various styles in the places where it appears it doesn't fit at all, though it can be relevant everywhere. Imagine they're closing the borders now, and a lot of people can't go to their southern getaways. That's why we really miss those places, and I think that feeling will be enhanced. In the modern world, it's difficult to imagine life without a smartphone, laptop, PC, and so on and so forth. As is with this, we have to adapt ourselves and our interior as well. There is a trend for wireless chargers built into furniture, with USB and even Type-C sockets, smart switches. Yes, smart home systems. Everything that can create comfort for us, especially when we're often located in our homes. And all these smart home systems and various modern technologies simply smash together into a modern interior. As a result, we get an interesting mix. A smorgasbord of authentic, contemporary design with natural, untouched materials, juxtaposed with all this modern technology. And I think this is just a very neat mix, which should develop more and more further into the future. It seems to me that's what the future is actually all about. A strong prerequisite for modern interiors is the organization of the workspace. Without this, modern interiors will no longer exist, as the world demonstrated this year. Therefore, we must adapt these interiors, and we must ponder in advance exactly how we will work inside the interior. It is very difficult to concentrate at home. Those who work from home know this, and as a rule, those who work from home maintain a specific space for themselves, like a workspace. And it's supposed to be some kind of ritual. Wake up, do your chores, put on your jacket, so to speak, and head to your office. Still, there must be a ritual, some kind of transition. Some of those who are building a house make a study in a separate space. You can even plan your workspace in such a manner as this. And what's important in planning when pondering how to organize a workspace is thinking about the process of life. You have to consider planning who gets up at what time, what they're going to do, so that there's less conflicts and collisions and so on. The fact that all of you have already felt stress, like when the house is full, tons of children. Everyone is running around the apartment, the house, and it's hard to concentrate. It affects the work process. A well-organized workspace seems to be a must-have, my friends, along with the major trends that we've identified today. Natural materials that give you concentration, the green color of plants. All of these things have a positive effect on being able to work more efficiently and productively. Something very important in the modern world, as practice has shown, is a personal approach. So again, we're spending more and more time at home, and we need to change something. Something to modify, something to personalize. And I think now there are more and more various solutions and trends related to some module systems. We've already seen a large number of manufacturers have begun making modular sofas, modular shelves that can be rearranged, and something to modify, the number of lamps to change track lighting, where you can magnetically attach the required number of lamps. All this you can do at home inside your personal space. You can play with a smart house and somehow adjust it to your own liking, change the lighting settings, and so on and so forth. This is personalization, and it's also a trend in regards to interior design. So think about how you can apply this according to your own design. The interior designer also thinks about how these things can be applied to their customers in order to meet this particular need. In connection with the trend of personalization, it seems to me that it will be fashionable to look for design solutions that are not very popular, but rather limited, exclusive. And to include some unusual mark from a certain designer, I think it will be fashionable, just like it was and is with regards to clothes, for example. And this can be utilized right now. By the way, write in the comments what you think we should do, what we should design, what we should develop on our team, what we should do on the menu, maybe even with you, and put these ideas in the comments below. And we'll also think about choosing something. And maybe in 2021 we'll begin developing our very own concepts and start making our own personal interior designs. And finally, I'll probably say that after all, Trends are purely an individual thing, and usually a trend towards personality develops individuality, and the boundaries of styles, the boundaries of some certain trends, repetitions are blurring, and people are increasingly showing their own individuality. Actually, a trend is such a blurred concept, though regardless, make sure to use your personal style in the interior, especially when the rules allow you to mix anything. Therefore, you can experiment and do what you like specifically. I hope this video was useful for you and you got some ideas for yourself. Also, write in the comments anything I may have missed and what you could add to these trends. I will read the comments, follow them, and most of all, subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell so as not to miss a single video and give a like. See you soon. Bye-bye.